Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Omotayo Olaoye and I'm an international student in the UK. Now, if this is your first time here, thank you so much for coming to my YouTube channel. You're especially welcome and I hope you have a great time. And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for coming once again and I hope you have an amazing time today as well. So today, I'll be talking about my visit to Portrush and one of the locations I visited. Now, Portrush is a small seaside resort in Northern Ireland and most of it is built on a 1 mile long peninsula known as the Ramor Head. So, as I mentioned, I visited a couple of places around Portrush, but I'm so excited to tell you about this particular one. But before I do, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel so you get a notification each time I drop a new video. I am also sure you'll love this video, so please don't forget to share this video and drop a comment to tell me what you think. So sit back and relax as I tell you about this interesting place I visited. So it's time to spill the beans. Now there are many interesting things about this particular location, but what I found most interesting is the fact that it's one of the candidates for the 8th wonder of the world. Wow. Yeah, I was wild as well. Yeah, so I'll just say it. So I visited the Giant's Causeway. Oh my god, I had such a giant adventure. So without any further ado, let's talk about my experience visiting the Giant's Causeway. So we took the train from Belfast to Portrush with one stop at Causeway, and it was a comfortable ride. Portrush is a coastal area, and personally I enjoy visiting coastal areas because of the serenity and the beautiful scenery. So we got settled and prepared for our visit to the Giant's Causeway the next day, and I would like to pause here to quickly tell you some things about the Giant's Causeway. The Giant's Causeway is an area of about 40,000 interlocking basalt columns, and is said to be the result of an ancient volcanic fissure eruption. It's been a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1986, and it's one of the candidates for the 8th wonder of the world. It's also one of the greatest natural wonders in the United Kingdom. So we set out to see the Causeway on a windy Friday morning, and as you can see, it was so windy. Here we had arrived and we were walking towards the Causeway. From here you can see the hexagonal basalt columns and how they are uniquely arranged and aligned. As you would expect, we were trying to make it right to the top of the columns to admire the scenery and take really nice photos. And we did! Now there are two explanations of how the Giant's Causeway was formed. The first is a legend and the second is a scientific explanation. So I'll begin with the legend. So it's said that a long time ago, there were two giants named Finn McCool and Benandona. Finn McCool lived in Ireland while Benandona lived in Scotland across the Irish Sea. Now it's said that Benandona once challenged Finn McCool to a fight, and in response, Finn McCool tore up great chunks of the Antrim coastline and hurled them into the Irish Sea. And this created a path between Scotland and Ireland, what we know today as the Giant's Causeway. But that's not the end of the story. According to the legend, Benandona destroyed a large portion of the causeway after Finn McCool's wife deceived him and made him believe her husband was a huge and massive giant who could easily defeat him. So what we have as the causeway today are the leftovers of Finn McCool's creation. The scientific explanation, on the other hand, says the Giant's Causeway was formed 50 to 60 million years ago, following a period of volcanic activity. Now I think the legend is interesting, but the scientific explanation is more plausible. So I also explored the other side of the causeway, which was more calm and less windy, but unfortunately it was about time to say goodbye. So I hope you enjoyed my story. Now that was a summary of my trip to the Giant's Causeway, and as you can tell, I had such an amazing time. However, this video will not be complete if I don't talk about the most fascinating and at the same time frightening part of my trip. So I'll tell you about it. Now, whenever I travel, I always check the weather forecast. I try to check the temperature to know how cold it's going to be, so I'll know how to dress. And then I always try to know whether or not it's going to rain, so I'll know what I'm up against. But I never knew how important it was to check the wind speed, to know how windy it's going to be. Now on this particular day, it was so windy and I was with my sister, and I remember we had 3 failed attempts at walking towards the Causeway. So each time we tried to walk towards the Causeway, we rushed back because it felt like the wind was going to take us off our feet. Now when we tried to look right ahead, it was also more scary because we had like the cliffs and the Irish Sea. So it felt like the moment you get off the road, you're either going to hit the cliffs or you get into the Irish Sea. But that was not the case. It's actually very safe to walk towards the Causeway. So eventually we had a group of 20 people who registered at once. And then when we saw them walking towards the Causeway, I was like, okay, 20 people are doing it, then we can do it. But it was still windy and we had to hold each other's hands till we got to the Causeway. So lesson learned, always check the wind speed whenever you want to travel, especially if you are going towards a coastal area. So talking about getting to the Giant's Causeway, there are a couple of options. If you're coming from outside of Belfast and you want to fly, the airports closest to the Giant's Causeway are the Derry Airport, which I think is about 30 miles from the Giant's Causeway. You also have the Belfast International Airport, which is about 42 miles away, and the Belfast City Airport, and I think that's close to 50 miles from the Causeway. Alternatively, there are direct tours from Belfast and Dublin to the Giant's Causeway. So you pay a specific amount of money and then you get on a bus, you're taken to the Causeway, you get to spend some time there and you're brought back to your destination. Personally, I wanted to explore a couple of places around Portrush, so I didn't go on a direct tour. So what I did was I took the train from Belfast to Causeway, and when you get to Causeway, you can either take the train from Causeway to Portrush like I did, or if you just want to go to the Giant's Causeway alone, you can take there's a bus from Causeway that takes you to the Giant's Causeway. Yeah, so that's about transportation. About accommodation, there are a couple of hotels around the Giant's Causeway. I stayed in Portrush because, like I said, I wanted to explore lots of other places. When I got to the Giant's Causeway, I realized there are a couple of places where you can stay and have a good time. So if you want to explore a couple of places around Portrush like I did and you don't have a car, you can decide to get an all-day ticket. That was what I did. So I got an all-day ticket and I was able to hop on the bus. So you just need to check the bus timetables and know when to be at the bus stop. And the bus will take you to a couple of nice places around Portrush. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you decide to visit the Giant's Causeway. So as I mentioned earlier on, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Drop a comment to tell me what you think and feel free to share this video. I am so excited you are here and I can't wait to share my next video with you. So till then, bye and see you in my next video.